Hi students, I'm going to show you another way to use layers in Pixlr, and of course you can always use this in Photoshop. We're going to be using a public domain image that is a PNG image. It was originally made in a drawing program like Adobe Illustrator. When you use a PNG image, it has what's called an alpha layer, which can be this transparent layer. So anything that we choose here can be brought into our photo, and we will see the photo that's underneath when we put this on top. So I have plenty to choose from. You'll all have a favorite, I'm sure, here. I think I'll try this bird. This looks sort of interesting. So there's a bird line drawing, and it's a free download, so I just click that like that. And so once that happens, that will end up on my computer, and I can then pull it into Pixlr. So I'm going to go to Pixlr now. All of you know Pixlr at this point, and this is a familiar window for you. Here's that image that I made, and I have flattened it, so it's only one layer here. To add an image, you just go down here, you ask it to browse, and we can put this bird here right like that, and it will be on top, right? And we know how to do that now. Once we have that image, let's just remember some of the things we could do. I would like to flip that bird, so it's, I didn't mean to say flip the bird, really I didn't. But there it is. I flipped that particular bird, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key as I shrink it down. I didn't do that when I showed you the last time because it was just the layer with texture. But to keep an image so it's straight, it's always a good thing on a Mac to hold down the Shift key. Also, if I want that bird to be at an angle, I have to touch up here on this circle to do that. So I'm just going to have that bird sort of sitting on my head. Probably just like that would be all right. Okay, so that's one thing that I could do. And of course, with this, I can do the same as I did before as far as maybe I want it to be somewhat less black, so it fades into the background a little bit more. So I could play around with that if I wanted to do that. Another thing that you could try is in this program itself, there are various shapes and overlays. And so even though I had you do your overlay and go out and take your own pictures, which I loved, by the way, I thought you did a great job. Here's the bouquet. And a lot of these are sort of interesting and are kind of popular effects for people to use. So I think I'm going to try this one. And all I had to do was touch it, and it put an immediate layer right there on top. And again, I don't have to have that full strength. I can change that transparency. So that's one thing that we could do. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that, and I think you all know about doing that now. If I wanted to keep it as a PNG, I could. At this point, a JPEG is probably as good. And I know the last time I said something like these were lower quality and this is a high quality. I'm not really going to care about this picture, and it might be a little faster to download if it's a less high resolution image. So a second thing that you could try doing that I didn't show you before would be, and I'm going to close this. I'm going to open an image, and I'm actually going to go to my drive and pick a couple images. Okay, I could do that one, and let me just see if I have something. This is from my July show at the State of the Art Gallery. Okay, these are some flower pictures that I have. I'm just going to do this just to show you. All right, so I just want it to be a web size to make this go fast, and I'm going to apply that. I think having these big images that you get with your phone, it's always a little bit problematic when you're working on the internet, unless you have a good internet connection. Okay, so I could start out by adjusting this. You know, I'm thinking that I would actually like to give it a little bit more contrast, so I'm going to move that over like that. I could also try to, let me just see what else I would like to do here. We give it a little more vibrance. So then I'm going to put a second image on top. And I go to here again, and I'm going to browse. And what is good is if we were to choose an image that has a lot of white in the background. So here's a collage, to put that right on top of this one, and there's that collage. Now you can see the collage has that really nice white edge around it. If I go to the Cut tool, and I go to what's called the Magic Cutout, and I have this remove checked, if I touch that white area, that will cut that right away. So I now have that collage shape, and I'm just going to pull that out like that to make sort of a new and different kind of image there. So that was pretty easy. So what if I wanted to cut another piece that was smaller than that, that wasn't on white? So instead of the Magic Cutout, I could draw the cutout, or in this case, I'll just use this Lasso Tool. And having softness means when you remove it, if you have no softness, it'll be a sharp edge. And if you have medium, it will be a softer edge. I have to select the right word there, remove. I draw around that. And now I have that shape underneath. So I could just put that flower right in the center of that. I find this kind of harsh, the way this color combination is. So rather than change this collage piece that I have, I think what I would do is go into this adjustment, and I think that I would just desaturate the background. Okay, so I have that just like that. So I want you to play around with these cutout tools. Like I said, this is not going to be as easy as when you work with Photoshop, but the tools are pretty good. As you saw, just with a white background, you can use that Magic Cutout. Okay, so I want two images, and one would be where you would bring in one of your public domain images. The other, bring in any other kind of image that you would like.